Not everyone can do it. It's an art and a science. And let's face it, not everyone is a scientist. Some people need more help than others. The basics like reliable transportation, internet, laundry, a regular shower, even water, those basics we all take for granted. Electricity. These are the challenges of those caught in the net. Are homeless, unhoused, housing challenged, living in the margins. People of all ages, young, middle-aged, senior citizens, entire families, male, female, all reasons and all walks of life. Anyone can find themselves living in the margins. Homelessness and the challenges that go with it are not going away, and we can't ignore them. It's just too expensive. We've got to do better. Take the next step forward. Tune in now and listen to Working in the Margins.
Hello, Dina. Inland here. This is Shazette. I'm with Family Assistance Program, and you are tuning in to Working in the Margins. This is our weekly radio show and podcast, and I have the honor and privilege of coming into my community representing my agency, Family Assistance Program, and I'm a community member. I'm an advocate for the homeless population. I've been out here doing this work for quite a while, and there's a lot to talk about right now with some of the edicts, some of the changes, some of the legislation that's coming out of the White House zone. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But I have a wonderful guest today, a friend, a longtime friend and colleague in this work we call homelessness and serving the unhoused. His name is Paul Fournier. And I'll be honest, Paul Fournier, that maybe one time I thought about if Paul and I got together, my name would be Shazette Fournier. And I thought, man, that's like a cool ass name. You know what I mean? Right? It's like French and so one time I thought about that. Paul, there, I could see you, I think.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, sir. How are you?
I'm doing peachy. Glad to be here.
Good, good. That's a beautiful background. Is that a real background, Paul, or a fake background?
Well, it's a real it's a real background, but it's on the other side of the lake where I live. So,
Oh, okay. So, um, thank you for taking me up on my invitation, and I'm sorry you couldn't be here with me in person, but that's okay. Look at technology. Um, it's amazing. We've made some changes here at the studio on how we do edit videos and things because Skype went out of business, so or they merged or somebody bought them. You know, it seems to be happening a lot in the world. Um, but I want to do. I'm gonna do a little bit about how we met and how we work together, but I want to tell you about my friend Paul. Um, he has degrees in IT and technology management. That's probably why this was so easy to do. Can you hear that? Okay. This is my fan because I'm hot. I'm in a puzzle, y'all. So I'm hot. My people understand that. They understand stuff like that. So they expect that from me. I could suffer through. That's okay. Um, okay. So Paul has degrees in IT and technology management, which made it easy for him to help us hook up today like this on the TV. He's a creative problem solver. He is. Um, you're a systems thinker, which I've always appreciated about you. Um, and you have a long background in IT and various entrepreneurial pursuits. For fun, oh, that's wonder. He's a worship leader at his church since the age of 12. Oh, glory to God. Singing and playing guitar, which is my favorite instrument because I played a little bit back in the day. Oh, he's a Rotary. I'm reading it like it's my first time because it's my first time seeing it all together in one message. So, he's an active Rotarian in the mountains, and his focus is on vocational opportunities for youth. And that's just one more reason why I know that he's my dude because that's so important right now, especially since they shut down, they shut down, but school programs like Job Corps, we still need kids to learn vocation. So, for the last 10 years, he has worked in the nonprofit space first for a counseling firm, and then for the last 7 years, working on a wide range of homeless issues, primarily in San Bernardino Mountains. He's starting as a volunteer and caseworker in August of 2018. The process to get his first client, a veteran house, quickly led him to be involved in homelessness solutions at the highest levels in San Bernardino County, where he participates to this day. That's true. So Paul is, we have like a county continuum of care board, and recently we kind of restructured it, and some folks that we had long relationships were they didn't end up on the new board, but man was I happy to know that Paul did, that he got to stay, because we don't have a lot of representation coming from the mountains, and he's always been a great representative for the mountains. His latest endeavors are returning him. He's going back to IT, y'all. At his IT roots, he's building businesses and nonprofits to understand AI, artificial intelligence. And I think because it's already taken over the world, I think that we could learn a lot from him. So I've already picked him to do some trainings and workshops for me, because I know I'm 58. And I know at 58, I understand probably only 10% of what AI does. And I could use that assistance too. And I'm sure other people like me could use that education. And he's, he is, his focus is how he can future proof that organizations and nonprofits help them gain competitive advantage and serve clients better and more economically. And because of some of the changes and cutbacks that family assistance and many other agencies have been experiencing, I think that how we need to learn everything we can about how to keep serving our clients and giving them services, and we are needing to work with less funding and less income. So we need to learn how to do it like on a shoestring. So if I'm happy
You
to
bet.
learn from Paul. So Paul, thank you so much for coming. You just didn't want to leave the mountains because it's beautiful up there, huh? I know it's hot, but it's beautiful up there.
Well,
Uh,
I would have come down for you, Gisette,
oh, thank
um,
you, thank you.
but my car took a turn for the worse yesterday, so
Yes,
we
indeed,
had
it
we had to figure
happens.
something else out.
I know it
Yeah.
happens. It's okay. So, Paul, tell me about your affiliation. We're gonna talk more about Mountain Homeless Coalition and Mountain Homeless and what you do up there. People they don't hardly know. So this is a good opportunity for us to let a lot of people know that there is a Mountain Homeless Coalition. And why is there a Mountain Homeless Coalition? Because there are homeless people in the mountains, right?
Yeah, and because a lot of volunteers were feeling the nudge that something had to be done. This was 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and so it was a group of volunteers mostly built around a couple of churches that started doing that, and then I came along around 2018, give or take, and I became their first employee at one point. So.
That's awesome. Um, Tell me some unique challenges that are faced by the homeless population in the mountains and the areas that you're in, and then tell me what areas you're in too. Like what's up there that people would know.
Well, okay, I'm gonna just show a quick map if that's
Uh-huh.
okay. And how's that going to work? Is it going to work? No, it's not going to work that
It's
way.
not gonna work.
Okay. Well, anyway, um, we work in the San Bernardino Mountains from Crestline or Cedar Pines Park on the west end, which is north, uh, straight north of San Bernardino, and we go all the way out to the east end of Big Bear Lake. And so that's about a 45-mile car trip, and it's about 5 miles wide at its widest. There are times during the year when you cannot get from one end to the other because of snow and ice,
Right.
um, for sure. Um, but so that's the territory we serve. It's from the altitude is from around, I don't know, 4,000 feet at the lowest, around 8,000 feet at the highest.
Okay.
And so we do get, there's a wide range in weather actually. And
Right.
um, so we cover Crestline, Lake Arrowhead, Running Springs, and Big Bear are the big towns. And there's, I always kid around because folks who live down the mountain or uh, downhill or off the hill or flatlanders. Anyway, all of those
Cause I
adjectives
like
we
that.
have for everybody. Um,
Y'all
they
low
they
lying
tend to
folks.
think we're all
We
one
are.
community, and we're not.
Right. Right.
The uh,
Major
I
differences.
keep saying I know we all look alike to all y'all, but we've got really different economies, really
Mm-hmm.
different weather,
Mm-hmm.
in those four towns.
Right.
Some are, I mean, Big Bear is really very winter oriented. Crestline and Lake Arrowhead are more summer oriented. So,
Right.
but they're all seasonal, and so that is actually one of the challenges is that we have a tourism oriented economy,
Right.
and particularly in Big Bear, it's a long trip from Big Bear to say down to San Bernardino.
Right.
Even if you have a running car, it's a 45-mile drive and about
Right.
an hour. If you're taking the bus, it's, I don't know, probably an hour and a half, 2 hour drive,
Right.
and it only happens 4 times a day. And so that is one of their challenges. Another challenge we have, it's actually one of our biggest ones, is that they funding for homeless issues is largely determined by an annual survey that they call the Point in Time Count. I'm sure you've talked about it a lot on your show.
It's not really because I'm not a
And
fan of it, but I know.
okay, well, anyway, it takes place nationally at the same time of the year, which
Yeah.
ends up being the last third or fourth uh, Thursday in January
Right.
in San Bernardino County.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, there's normally snow on the ground, and people
Right.
who might be homeless had to get
That
inside, and
that's why I
therefore
don't
they
like it.
can't be counted. They
Mm-hmm.
can't even be counted if they had to spend the night on someone's couch or whatever.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and it's darn near impossible, particularly
Right.
in Big Bear, where you're getting temperatures down in the teens that time of the year,
Exactly.
typically,
And so
for people
because
to
of
stay in their
that,
cars or camp or whatever.
right. And so because of that, when funding comes out and it's divided regionally, the mountains always get the lowest amount
Yes, we do.
based on an inaccurate count. The point in time count
Yeah.
is not accurate. It's accurate for that day when it happens at that time. I have my own feelings about the point in time count. It's just something that we have to do because they told us we had to do it because they give us money for doing it. So, but I hope I know we have an Office of Homeless Services. I know that we have a director that doesn't he don't really like it either, and he's been trying to initiate a different type of method of accounting for homeless folks on, but even if we just did it 2 months later, it would make a big difference in the mountains, right?
Generally speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and so two things happen is number one, folks who uh, tend to move around with the weather, aren't up here to begin with. But even if they are up here, and even if they were willing to brave the elements, generally speaking, it's just so cold
Mm-hmm.
that time of the year that very, very frequently, we'll end up with a snowstorm that week or something like
Right.
that. And
Right.
and you and even if they were homeless the week before,
Mm-hmm.
if they had to spend the night on someone's couch or whatever, they can't be counted. So
Right. They can't be
anyway,
counted.
so that's one of our issues. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the other another thing is there's very minimal public transportation,
Right.
uh, and I'll just leave it at that. Um, Most people would be shocked to know that the Big Bear Valley has one of the lowest per capita incomes in San Bernardino County.
Oh, wow. Big Bear Valley
And
has one of the lowest
per
per
capita
capita
incomes
incomes
in San Bernardino County.
in San Bernardino County. Okay. We the largest
Yes.
county now. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's largely to do with the fact that it's a tourist-based industry. There's a whole lot of second homeowners,
Mm-hmm.
and you drive around, you'll see a lot of, I mean, you'll see a lot of humble cabins, but you'll see a lot of um, darn near mansions,
Mm-hmm.
6,000 square foot log cabins and so
Right.
forth. But those are primarily second homeowners, folks
Right.
who live on the
Right.
west side or San Diego or
Right.
Newport or whatever,
Okay.
So
And what do they do with them
yeah,
when they're not staying in them? Are they renting them out? Are they Airbnb?
it depends on the family. Some people would
Okay.
never dream of doing it, and I mean the concept of renting out your cabin, it's not a new concept. It's been going on for decades and decades and decades.
Oh yes.
What did change everything was this uh, disruptive technology called Airbnb,
Mm-hmm.
and that just made it so much more accessible
Right.
to the general population, and but simultaneously put a lot of hotels
Out of business.
out of business, or certainly disrupted their incomes.
Right.
While in the meantime, in the meantime, they uh, uh, create made the rental stock
Right.
cabins that they might rent out um, seasonally or whatever to hospitality workers, folks who work the
Mm.
ski slope or whatever,
Right.
made
Right.
those much more expensive.
Right.
I've been on the mountain for almost 20 years now. When I first moved up here in Crestline, it wouldn't be shocking to find someone who was living on Social Security for like 400, 450, four or $500 a month,
Right.
in a decent little cabin, and those
No longer.
uh, tripled, quadrupled in price.
Yeah.
So
No
all
longer.
of those things together, added to a lot of challenges,
Right.
and there's also weather. So
Right. Right. Um, what resources are you all um, through the Mountain Homes Coalition and some of your like your churches? What resources are you able to offer your homeless populations? Um, do you what and we housing all it seems to be what everybody needs, but um, unless we just fall backwards into a whole bunch of housing available right now, we gotta create it, make it, build it. So what are you doing with your if you have homeless that need housing in it up in your area?
well, first of all, the Mountain Homeless Coalition came into existence, give or take 10 years ago, or 70, whatever it is exactly. So they were the first organization that concentrated specifically on the homeless issue up here. And I will say that when I started as a volunteer and then an employee, getting county resources or, the Veterans Administration or Department of Behavioral Health or
Right.
whoever up on the mountain was very much like pulling teeth.
Oh,
And
I know.
I not only was it didn't, fit into their schedule maybe, but I will never forget a conversation with a county employee about 10 years ago. And I said, I, I, they asked me where I lived at, and I said Lake Arrowhead. And she says, "Oh, you live up there." She says, "It scares me to drive up there." And and I said, "Well, I know what you mean. It scares me to drive down here." But you know, uh,
Right.
but in the meantime, I remember one time, there was an initiative called Inroads,
Yes.
that's still around, and it's a
With
combination.
DBH.
It's
Yeah.
done by Department of Behavioral Health, and
Yeah.
it's a combination of sheriffs
Hmm.
and healthcare and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, they were scheduled to come up here, and they canceled because it was windy. It's like, for heaven's sakes, it's windy.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
I mean, that's the way people react. So
Do they even have
basically,
offices up there, Paul? Do they have offices
uh,
up there
j-
for not?
very, 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 very few. There was
Okay.
a period of time, a short period of time, and I'll I'll call it the 90s, and I'm really not sure of the timing, but
Hmm.
where they started building some county offices up here for
Hmm.
courtrooms and
Right.
like building and safety and sheriffs and so forth. And they funded those for some period of time, but um, they, gradually they largely abandoned them.
Wow.
It was too expensive or impractical or whatever
Right.
um, the conclusion that they came to. And I will also say that the average person living on the mountain is fairly independent,
Right.
and they care. There's some things they really do care about. They care about their roads. They want their roads plowed and maintained,
Right.
and fire protection, maybe sheriff, and maybe schools. But there's a
Yeah.
huge homeschooling population up here.
Oh, okay.
So largely fairly independent, and if there's not a lot of government services,
Right.
most people aren't offended by it.
Right.
But by the
Okay.
same
They
token,
just
if you're
kind of
living
keep to
on
themselves.
if you're living on the margins, and you're
Mm-hmm.
falling through the cracks,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't work as well for you, to
Right.
be very honest. So,
Right. Right.
so we've got the homeless coalition, and they move heaven and earth, and build a lot of relationships and so forth to get stuff done.
Right.
We've got the churches. The social safety net on this mountain for 150 years has been the church,
Right.
largely, and it's moved a lot back towards that. There's a number of food banks on the mountains, mostly run by churches.
Churches.
Um, there's organizations such as Rim Family Services. They come through for Rim Family Services and oh, uh, gonna kill me. Anyway, there's some nonprofits who cover the mountain fairly well. The
Mm-hmm.
school districts, with their McKinney-Vento
Right.
funding,
Right.
definitely help with the school age kids and their families.
Right.
And then during the spring, summer, fall, but not during the winter,
Mm-hmm.
there are campgrounds that, it's legal to camp and be
Oh,
homeless
okay.
as long as you keep moving.
Right.
You can't stay more than 2 weeks and stuff like that.
Right.
But, so those are some of the
Okay.
resources.
That's wonderful. I'm happy to hear that there are, and we need to collaborate more to make sure that we're building more resources for the mountain area. We're gonna go to break. I could sit here and just talk, and listen and talk, but we're gonna go to break right now, and we will be back, San Bernardino, in a few minutes.
The Legacy KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM.
Now, here's a new concept: digital network advertising, where businesses display your ad inside their building. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, your company is going to thrive with digital network advertising. Choose your marketing sites or jump on the DNA system and advertise with all participants. Your business ad or logo is rotated multiple times an hour inside local businesses where people will discover your company. Digital network advertising, DNA, a novel way to be seen and remembered. Digital network advertising with networks in Redlands and Yucaipa. Call in the 909 area 222-9293 for introductory pricing. That's 909-222-9293 for digital network advertising. One last time, digital network advertising, 909-222-9293.
KCAA.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Located in the heart of San Bernardino, California, the Teamsters Local 1932 Training Center is designed to train workers for high-demand, good-paying jobs in various industries throughout the Inland Empire. If you want a pathway to a high-paying job and the respect that comes with a union contract, visit 1932trainingcenter.org to enroll today. That's 1932trainingcenter.org.
KCAA.
Where life's much better. So download the app in your smart device today. Listen everywhere and anywhere. Whether you're in Southern California, Texas, or sailing on the Gulf of Mexico, life's a breeze with KCAA. Download the app in your smart device today.
I'll be sailing out of yesterday in the Gulf of Mexico.
KCAA.
Welcome back. San Bernardino, Inland Empire. This is Shazette. You are tuning in to Working in the Margins. This is our weekly radio show and podcast. It generates a podcast on the YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. Like as it's being done live, I think that's what they call it. We are on KCAA 1050 AM. You can find us on 106.5 FM. KCAA Radio, KCAAradio.com, KCAA TV. If you want to see this or past shows or watch some of the other good shows on the lineup. Eric's got a show. My engineer, Easy E, he got a show too. Palm Trees in Progress. And,
Thank you.
I do. I watch it, and it's real talk, and it's timely. I think that's what we try to do here is we bring timely information. I watch the shows when I have time. I'd rather watch the shows because ain't nothing on TV right now. Nothing. Everything is on hiatus. Close out with him. If you still Paul, and this part right here, this bit right here. Let me turn my fan off. I forgot to turn my fan off. So I have been in. I've been sitting steady in prayer, y'all. Let me tell you, I've been sitting steady in prayer. I have been trying to wrap my head around some of the things that are going on in our society. Some attitudes, why people aren't getting engaged. I know some of it's out of fear. I know some of it is overstimulation with issues. So we got people trying to save funding and fight for funding for so many different issues, youth and immigrants and our BIPOC communities and our LGBTQIA, Two-Spirit communities. I feel so it's like everybody is overextended, overstimulated, and I think I was too. And I have to think. I had to think because you can't. I heard of somebody say, "How do you eat an elephant?" And it's one bite at a time. And I figured that out like a week ago, one bite at a time. So what is going to be my bite? And my bite right now is to get as many people as I can to care about the nonprofits and the people in our communities that have devoted their lives to helping other people, other communities. I know that still seems like a big bite, but here's how I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to continue to bring on folks like Paul Fournier from the mountains. I'm going to bring on other nonprofit leaders, community leaders that have been hit, that are struggling, that want community engagement to help them survive so that they can continue to serve our marginalized communities. So, Paul told us what one of the major problems about the mountains is that they are allotted funding based upon the point in time count. I need, and if you understand it how we understand it and why it's not fair, why it's not accurate, if you watch this and you understand that community, I need you to be influential in your conversations and make a phone call to the county or the supervisors, and it's the Office of Homeless Services that navigates the point in time count, and tell them why this doesn't make sense, that we need to do another point in time count when the accurate number of people at max capacity are on the mountain, when we think that could be. And there is a time, right, Paul, where there's like a better time to count?
Well, for us, our high time is in the middle of the summer where, I mean, right now it's probably what, 105 degrees where you are,
104.
right? It's 88 here. So, it's a big difference. And so there are people who, maybe they winter in the high desert somewhere. Well, they're up here to get out of the heat and whatever. So, if we did a head count around this time of the year, it would be about the height of the year. Another solution that was done in the past was just to at least have a base allocation on some of the funding. That, for instance, no matter how many you had, at least 50 grand or some base amount was
Right.
allocated to each region, and then it was based on the point in time count.
Right. Right.
And that actually helped um, the Mountain Homeless Coalition, which, by the way, I'm no longer employed by the Mountain Homeless Coalition. I'm
Right.
just independent, but helped the Homeless Coalition, get a foothold and get some things done.
Right.
And so,
Right. And what broader community, because that's what I'm gonna use this platform. What broader community support can we give? What do you need on the mountains um, from us down here? What do you call us, flatlanders? That's funny.
yes.
Um, Eric knew that term. um, what do you need
Yeah.
from us? I know, like you said, and I heard this before. Mountain folks like to be left alone. They just they're up there for a reason. But what can we do to support, the life and of the folks that are up there and that are marginalized? I know I've shared that I think there can be shared housing can be done efficiently up there. What else can we do?
Yeah.
Um,
I think there's several things. Um, number one, there are certain communities such as veterans. I'll use them. And my very first client for the Homeless Coalition was a veteran who'd been homeless for 3 years. And and if you're a veteran in any county, you are in theory the number one homeless population. In other
Right.
words, the most readily served. Uh, it's a priority to get you off the streets. Well, it took it should have taken about 7 microseconds to get my guy off the streets. It ended up taking 7.5 months,
Mm.
and that was me knocking down the door of the VA and
Mm-hmm.
behavioral health, and because he had definite behavioral health issues.
Right.
But and it took 7.5 months and a true act of God to actually
Mm-hmm.
get him housed. Certain populations, veterans, um, elderly, uh, and um, uh, mental illness
Mm-hmm.
issues,
Right.
certainly are in many ways they're beyond uh, what our what our
Yeah.
capabilities are up here,
Right.
and we do our best.
Yeah. Yeah. You
We
get a higher
we we
level of
do our
training.
best.
Right. Right.
But
Well.
to be more responsive to those communities, and in many we had um, a, a worker from Aging and Adult Services
Mm-hmm.
who did a fantastic, when called upon in the mountains, did a fantastic job um, helping seniors. In fact, uh, if you want, I can touch on one of our success stories
Please share one
recently.
of.
Yeah,
Please. Please.
yeah, yeah. So um, the I'm going to call her Mary, and Mary is 87 years old, and she was living in her car from Snowmageddon, which was about February of 2023,
Mm-hmm.
till relatively recently. And she's 87, very um, uh, con- uh, very image conscious, never a hair out of place. Most people did not know she was living in her car.
Wow.
She's very proud, um, but um, but she was, and I had gotten calls from, and this was long after I was with the Mountain Homeless Coalition. Gotten calls from her church, women at her church, women in her political club, and so forth,
Right.
who knew, got to help her. And, anyway, the Mountain Homeless Coalition came along recently and was able to do something called rapid rehousing.
Yes.
They supplemented her income for rental assistance for
Wow.
about 6 months. They paid. She only had a $604 a month income,
Okay.
and she found a place that was like, well, she was sometimes living in a place that was like $1,105 a month. So anyway,
Okay.
the Homeless Coalition supplemented $900 for about 6 months. Meanwhile, the Adult Protective Services got involved in helping to negotiate with the landlord, and RIM Family Services. There's a caseworker in Big Bear, Margaret Tiefenthaler, who's just amazing,
Awesome.
and she works with seniors. And she helps them find, whatever Social Security income, whatever disability income, whatever is entitled to them, not to mention food stamps and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And so over a 6 months period, they brought up her income. They worked with the landlord to get some concessions, forgive some past debts, um, and arranged with her sister, because one of the reasons why she was in the condition she was in was she also had some mental health issues.
Okay.
We, had just some delusions going on. And so they got her sister involved to become her payee. And so she's now living in a 410 square foot mountain
Wow.
cabin.
Wow.
She's paying $1,105 a month, as far as I know, unaided,
Wow.
for that. And she's stable, and her landlord is happy. And her landlord loves her. She's this really sweet lady.
Yes.
Um, a little, a little different some days, but really sweet lady.
Hey,
And
I'm gonna tell you, at
and
87.
so
Mm.
yeah, and so she is safely and securely housed now,
Yes.
and all her utilities are included in that rental, and she's her meals, her food's
Okay,
covered, all that kind of stuff.
shoot,
And
don't tell too
so
many
so
people
she's
that. That's a good deal. That's a really good deal. Wow. Great.
um
Mm.
I mean, and it's a teeny little mountain fishing cabin, hunting cabin, whatever you want to call it.
Hey,
But
it's a
it's,
roof and a
it's enough
bed.
for her to have a life. It's enough for her to
Yes.
have a life. So,
At
so
87.
anyway, um, so the way I, there were churches that came together on this.
Right.
There were friends. There was myself. There was Mountain Homeless Coalition. There was Adult Protective Services.
Right.
There were a lot of fingers in the pot on this, but we did get her settled,
Yes.
and that thank heavens. So
Thank heavens. That's a
and
wonderful story. I love that, and I just think about at 87 years old, the last place you want to leave this earth is in your car, and it to know. I don't know how much she could live to be 187 for all I know. I don't know who her people are. To know that she's in stable housing right now, um, that's
yep,
indicative of the good work that you all do up the hill, um,
yeah,
and that I'm gonna say it again, us Flatlanders look to you as an example. And I was working with y'all. I've worked with you and Wendell and Becky. I've worked with y'all for a while. I love working with you.
yeah,
I've come up there
yeah,
and looked at some properties, and you know,
yeah,
um, I got invitations to come back up there to talk about some shared housing and putting some stuff
yep.
together, because I think that that will be very vital for your community. Like for that 87-year-old, you could have, if you have shared housing already established, it shouldn't take long. And we don't have homeless veterans. We're not supposed to. They're supposed to be at zero,
Yeah,
because we
we
can
have
get them
none.
off of the streets, quickly. So I think maybe the key is we get more folks to come around and triage, do a caravan maybe once a month, and go up and just have a resource fair and offer all the services. And you folks up there who know your people, bring them to the resource fair. And
You
we can.
know, we've done a few resource fairs. It was a uh, limited success.
Yeah, yeah,
I think we're a small town, or we're
yeah.
several small towns to be very honest.
Right.
And I think that a lot of it just has to do with, you know what, know your neighbors, and keep your
Mm-hmm.
eyes open, and
Right.
see something, say something,
See
and
something, say something.
and or more to the point, see something, do something.
Right.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
and good things happen. I mean, that is exactly what happened with what I call her Mary.
Right.
Was people noticed and took action, uh, and then of course, for the most part, the folks on the mountain have to know each other better. And I am. Uh, it's a 25-mile drive from my house to Big Bear, and prior to my doing this work, I'd been to Big Bear twice.
Mm.
And so it's not one big
Mm.
mountain community. It's several
Right.
mountain
Right.
communities.
Yeah.
And so you got to know how to work together. And I mean, I'm
Right.
good friends with a lot of folks in Big Bear now, a lot of pastor buddies, and stuff like that. So if I need to get something done these days, it only
You
takes a
can.
few phone calls.
Right. Find a
Right.
collaborative or a
Right.
collaborator. That's wonderful. Paul, thank you so much for coming on today. I really, really
Thank you for
appreciate
the invitation.
taking the time and everything. And we didn't get to the AI part. How much longer I got, Eric? Oh, okay, that's good. So tell me, Paul, I'm gonna give you my last 3 minutes. Um,
Okay.
how is AI gonna save the world?
Well, I was getting hit from every corner of my life with AI. I just every possible corner. And I think the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge was an interview I heard the interview took was a former Google engineer that I follow, and this was at the end of January. And what he said was that I don't remember the name of the test, but there's essentially an IQ test for AI. Okay, it measures artificial general intelligence. And up till the end of last year, there was a, a, a PhD mathematician could score about an 18 out of 100 on that test, and the AIs were scoring about a zero point 0.6. And then all of a sudden in December or January, ChatGPT scored a 20. It was the first time ever that an AI scored higher than human beings. And then he was asked, well, what's the Moore's law for AI? How fast is it doubling? And he says,
Right.
wrong question. He said its capabilities are multiplying by a factor of 100 per year right now, which means
Wow.
2 years from this last January when AI first surpassed PhD mathematicians, it will be 10,000 times more capable than it was when it first surpassed human beings. So that
Wow.
got my attention. And um, the reality is that AI can do a lot of things right now. Like it can process a phone call in the middle of the night from a homeless person. It can do it in English or Spanish or Swahili. It can update databases. It can book appointments and so
Yes.
forth. And there's recent studies that some of these AIs, like the ones that you might order from at
Right.
Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or whatever, they're actually getting a higher customer satisfaction rating from the ones who talk to the AIs than the ones who talk to an actual human being. So
Wow.
it's getting good. It's developing a lot of just uh, discernment capabilities.
Right.
And people think of AI as just automating things, but it's not just automation. We've had automation for as long as you and I have been alive,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, and by the way, we deal with AI every day. Google
Right.
Maps is AI. Our
Yes.
spell checker is AI.
Right.
So it's not, but it's just developing new capabilities. And to be very honest, uh, any nonprofit, if they're not utilizing AI, they will start losing contracts to those who do.
Wow. All right.
And they will not be able to service their clients as well as they should. There's
Right.
so many phone calls that never get answered by
Right.
homeless people because they come after hours or whatever, and these capabilities are being made available. So
Right.
I'll end it there.
Thank you, Paul. So that's gonna be your invitation for the next time, and I want you to come and we're gonna talk about AI and how it can help us, how it can work for us, and how we can utilize it. I think we need every tool in the tool shed, in the toolbox, to get through this current downturn in agents funding getting cut and things like that, programs getting closed down. So I hope you take me up on that soon, and I can bring you back and we can talk about AI. Thank
You
you,
got it.
thank you, thank you, and I look forward to seeing you out there in them streets, Paul. You, community. Let's say I want that. Wasn't that a good interview? That was like a good interview. I love that. I feel like I've learned so much. Thank you. So, a couple of minutes. Um, I want to leave you with a couple of things. First, I want to tell you that I'm very, very serious about my commitment to help agencies and nonprofits and folks that do this work out here with us. Family assistance, we partner with a lot of agencies, a lot of programs, and some of them are struggling too. And somebody asked me the other day, because I had shared a post from Family Assistance Program. So we were blessed with an award of $5.8 million in Home Key Round 3 funding from the California Department of Housing and Community Development to construct 22 interim housing units to serve homeless youth. We started this project almost 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, we started this project. It was accepted, it was denied, and this is in the high desert. It's on, it's with the, it's a Tay-Age tiny home village in Victorville, in Old Town. We've had the property, we own the property and everything. We started this, they said no, they didn't want it there. So many things happened, but finally, this much long later, we finally got this award, and somebody posted it, and they said, oh, well, things must be looking up for family assistance. And I said, okay, first of all, this is somebody who doesn't know how nonprofits and funding works. And they a little education, which I graciously gave them a little education, that this project has been in the works forever, and it has gone absent in the community, much needed in the community, but it has gone absent in the community because of funding and red tape and things like that. So now we're going to have it, but we're still looking at a year, hopefully from now, that we'll be able to open. So please support your nonprofits, regardless of what you hear. Some programs, some funding is for particular projects. So continue to support your nonprofits, and I'm going to bring folks on to keep doing that. They're going to keep asking. They're going to keep asking. I got to go. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Eric. I'll see you next time.